thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has said that he's willing to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington. In an interview published by the Japanese news site Asahi Shimbun, Abbas was quoted as saying, quote, "I'm ready to meet the Prime Minister of Israel anytime in Washington under the patronage of President Trump," end quote. Abbas also hinted that he would demand a freeze on settlement construction as a precondition for future peace talks, despite Netanyahu publicly calling for Abbas to return to the negotiating table without preconditions. Yesterday, the White House announced that Abbas will meet with President Trump on May 3rd to discuss the restarting of the stagnant peace talks between the two parties. A few weeks ago, Abbas told United States Special Peace Envoy Jason Greenblatt that he believes a historic peace deal between Israel and Palestine is possible under the Trump presidency. Defense Minister Avigdor Liberman is slated to travel to Russia next week to attend the Conference on International Security, which will focus on critical problems of global and regional security. During the trip, Lieberman is expected to meet with Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov to discuss ongoing efforts to end the war in Syria. Last February, Lieberman spoke to the Russian Foreign Ministry over the phone to discuss the possibilities of restarting peace talks with the Palestinians and the ongoing efforts to end the Syrian civil war. Last month, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Russia to discuss Russia's involvement in the Syrian war and urged the Kremlin to stop Syria's ally, Iran, from gaining a permanent foothold in the country. Talks between Lieberman and senior Kremlin officials may get a little awkward, though, as Lieberman was one of the first Israeli leaders to unequivocally blame Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad for the chemical attack in Khan Sheikhoun, killing 86, including at least 30 children. Both Syria and Moscow strongly deny the allegation, with Assad going so far as to say that the attack was completely fabricated. Arabic announcements are expected to return to Beersheba buses this coming June. Earlier in November, the Transportation Ministry instructed the public bus company Dan Beersheba to cease announcing stops in Arabic, following complaints from Jewish residents. In December, 5 Negev Bedouins filed a petition with the High Court requesting that the Transportation Ministry reinstate Arabic announcements on buses. During court proceedings, the Transportation Ministry said that its Arabic announcements began prematurely and included a number of misinformation and audio problems. As a result, the ministry has contracted an outside firm to correct the mistakes. If all goes to plan, bilingual bus announcements will be in place by June 7th, and then will be extended to all public transportation across the country. Earlier this morning, a missing hiker was found in the Judean desert after a massive manhunt. The 22-year-old yeshiva student became lost after being separated from his friends who had been hiking in the dry riverbed of Wadi Og near the Dead Sea. After getting lost yesterday afternoon, the group called police, who organized a massive manhunt that included firefighters, police, local volunteers, and IDF soldiers combing the area with jeeps, ATVs, and a helicopter. The yeshiva student is reported to be unharmed and is currently undergoing a medical examination at an IDF base in the area. Israel's foreign ministry has just reminded citizens not to travel to North Korea in light of escalating tensions in the region. The warning came shortly before the first organized Israeli tour of the country is slated to take place next Tuesday. The ministry released a statement reminding Israeli tourists traveling to the isolated communist country that, quote, "If an Israeli citizen encounters any kind of trouble during a visit there, Israeli representatives will not be able to assist or provide any kind of help," end quote. An Israeli company called Tiulei Tarbut, or Cultural Travel, is offering an 11-day trip to the country that will take tourists to the capital city of Pyongyang, several national parks and nature reserves, as well as to the demilitarized zone separating the two Koreas. Earlier this week, the United States told the isolated communist region that the era of U.S. strategic patience in dealing with Pyongyang is over. The statement came in response to North Korea's continued development of intercontinental ballistic missiles and its ongoing nuclear weapons program. In addition, North Korea's human rights record has been annually condemned by the United Nations since 2005 and has been referred to as part of an axis of evil by Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Liberman.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.